Okay, so what we're doing next is we're doing the Knockout Advances graphics. We open up GIMP, and once we open up GIMP, we're going to go to a file. It'll be saved up on the OneDrive called knockoutandadvances.xcf. So I'm going to do that. You should see something that looks like this, which is your layer, your layers to put in the people. So then we're going to go look for a character online. So I pulled up Han Solo here as a character. I'm going to copy that image. This is just Google Images that I've searched for Han Solo and found him. I want to get a pretty high-res image. Then I go back to GIMP and I just paste him in as a new layer. So there he is as a new layer. He's pretty small, so we got to expand him a little bit. So in order to expand him, one of the things this GIMP is kind of weird about is if you have all these different masks all over the place, it will only expand based on the mask. So I usually click on this wand up here and just click on the outside, and that gets rid of all the masks that are currently there. Then I come back to the image, so I want to make sure on the layers I'm selecting that image of Han Solo in the layers. Then I want to select in the toolbox the scaling. I come here, I scale him, so I can just drag this till I get. Now, one of the things, I'm going to undo this real quickly. And when I scale it this time, what I'm going to do is I'm going to lock down the aspect ratio. So I click that lock down there. That'll keep it so that when I scale, it does not allow me to change the aspect ratio. So I'm going to do something like that. All right, and I scale him that big. Okay, so he's scaled that big, and there we go. Maybe not. So that didn't work. So he got scaled inside that box again. This is what I was saying a minute ago. For some reason, GIMP is kind of sloppy in the way it allows me to scale. Oh, I don't want to do that. So let's go to we'll go to this pasted layer, and I'm going to just click on the magic wand again and click outside of that layer. That way it's not selecting anything. Now I'm going to go back to Han Solo here, and I'm going to do the same thing I just did. I'm going to select scaling. I'm going to drag him, scale him again. Whoop, too much. Just trying to get him inside the box here so that he's that big. And I scale him. Come on, Hans. Scale right this time. There we go. And there he is. Okay, now you can see he's actually, we lost our Thunderbolt. So we come to layers and we just put him on the bottom side of the Thunderbolt. That way the Thunderbolt goes in front of him. Okay, so now he's underneath the lightning bolt. So he becomes the background layer. Now what we want to do is we want to move him. So I'm going to select him again in the layers. I'm going to come to this little cross thing that allows me to move him. And I'm going to move him. Oh, he's going to advance, so we'll definitely put him over here to advance. So I'm just going to move him on this side of the equation. See if I can get his gun in there. Oh, man. This is an example where in order to make him big enough, we lose a little bit of what he's doing. So I'm going to take him all the way to the end of the frame so we can get some of that gun in there. Yeah, I'm just even going to take him off the frame just a little bit so people know he's got a gun. Okay, so there's Han Solo. He's on one side. Now we need somebody on the other side. So I think who he's going to knock out, I'm not sure. We'd have to go to the gig to figure it out, but in fact, let's just do that real quickly. So we're going to figure out who Han Solo knocks out in the second round. So I'm pretty positive he's knocking out somebody. So I'm going to actually our website and look up for who he's up against. I know he's winning, and he's winning very extremely well. Let's see who he's up against. He is up against, come on. He is up against, oh, yeah, The Man with No Name. So that's Clint Eastwood. So we'll come to Google again. So I'm coming to Google Images, and I'm going to do The Man with No Name, Clint Eastwood. So I'll go get his picture. See if I can get a really big high-res one. Ooh, there's not much. Be good if you had a gun. That'd be cool. Need a big one. So I'm going to filter this by, let's see, settings, nope, tools. Tools is size, so we'll do large. So there we go. Now we got a big one. Let's just go with this one here. Yeah, we'll go with this one here. All right, so I do view image. I copy him by right-clicking, copy image, paste him into as a new layer. And there's old Clint. And now we got to make him big enough. So we're going to scale him up. Make him big enough. Whoop, come on, Clint. Don't get too big. And then we've scaled him to the size he needs to be. All right, and you can see the only problem we have here is that they're bleeding over each other. So what we want to do is take one of these pictures. So I'm going to take Clint, and I'm going to cut out this part of his image. So I'm going to just select, outside of his image here. I'm going to go all the way to the lightning bolt here. Kind of come up to the lightning bolt. I'm using the lasso feature of the tool, and I've selected that area of him that should not bleed over. I'm going to make sure I've selected Clint Eastwood's layer right here, which is selected, and then I could just hit Command X, and that gets rid of his gig. Now, unfortunately, I didn't move him over, so I'm going to move him over first before I do it. So I'll do the whole process over again, which is to move him over. I should have moved him over first. So let me move him over a little bit so that when I'm cutting him, I'm not cutting so he's centered. There we go. All right, now I come back and do the same thing again. Go to the lasso. I kind of go outside of the frame here, come over here, go along the lightning bolt. All right, get to the top, and then Command X, and he's gone. And now he's there. Now the last piece I've got to do to this is make them red or green. Red is the fact that he's out or knocked out. So to do that, I do the same thing. I'm going to lasso Clint again. I'm going to kind of go outside of the frame with him. I'm going to go along the lightning bolt again. Coming down, lightning bolt. And you can make as many points as you want. I'm going to go outside the frame here and come up to there. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up to colors and colorize. When I hit colorize, you should see Clint start to colorize. And then I'm going to change the hue. I'm going to bring it all the way to the left side, and he turns red. Cool. And then I can hit OK, and he's red. Now to do Han Solo, I come to Hans. I hit Hans in the clipboard. So I select his picture, and then I do the same thing. Select my lasso, come outside the frame a little bit, come up the lightning bolt, and when I get to the top of the lightning bolt, connected to the other side. Now he's selected. I can do the same thing, colorize, and then this time the hue I'm looking for is green, which is about midway through. You just want to make it kind of a nice green that makes him look like go versus stop. Cool. And so that's what you got there. And that's ready to export. So now I come to File, Export As, and I can do a PNG, and I'll just rename it Clint Hans Final Vote. And I save that. Now that's a pretty big file. So usually I come in and I shrink that file. So I'll show you what I do with that. I'll just save it there. Now I'll come into the folder I saved it to, which on my desktop's this M&M folder, MMM. And we'll look for the one I just created. Where are you? There he is. So this is a 6 meg file. We really don't want to be doing much with a 6 meg file, especially when we are creating emails and such. So what I'll do is I'll bring it up in preview. I could shrink it there in GIMP if I wanted to too, but this is an easy way to do it too. So I come up in preview, I hit adjust size, and I can shrink that down to, I'd say about 500. Makes it a nice size. Well, I'd take it down even further. Let's make it, I don't know, let's make it 400. All right, now it's 393K kilobytes, and we hit OK, and that saves it as the smaller file, and I can view the actual size, and it's still pretty big. So that's great for the internet and good for mail, which is what we're using it for. So now I have that file. I can plug it into my Constant Contact that I showed. I can plug it into my MailChimp that I showed as the Knockout and Advances, and I can use that for social media to tease in social media also. So that is how to create the Knockout and Advances.